How's my hair look, James?
I mean, you're very Prince Valiant-like.
Hey, I got this little bit of peach fuzz to make sure I don't look too handsome.
And with that, we're calling everyone to
God
Beer
damn,
Protocol.
I'm gonna hit you with a baseball. Not a bat, a
I
baseball.
I
The
didn't even
harder thing.
try. Like literally, I was just like, okay, three, two, and then we hit start record, and you just started talking. I'm James. I am literally drinking a Arnold Palmer because I can.
Nice. This is Jacob. I'm enjoying Sierra Nevada's sunny little thing, a citrus wheat ale.
Well, and Matt's not here. Huh. Huh.
Wait, where'd he go?
Um, we sent him back to Ireland. Chink.
Clink.
We're gonna talk about fan service.
Are we now?
Yeah. Oh God, I have to actually read it now. Oh, hold on, put my drink down.
Kick off my shirt. That's ugly for
All right,
everyone.
we're gonna talk Gwenpool, also known as Gwendolyn Pool. She has 4 physical, 3 energy, and 4 psychic defense. She is 6 health and 4 threat, size 2, and a medium move. She has stabby swords. It's a basic builder with pierce. Um, she
Matt's
has
gone. Bear with us as we're trying to.
She has Gwenpool's Bag of Tricks. It is a 4 distance for dice, which is not. It's a 0 cost too.
Yeah, it
Um,
a ranged. Actually, it's a ranged builder, but go
yeah,
on.
kind of.
A
It's
flat
only
builder.
one, you gain one, but you get Gwenpool special if it's a hit in a wild. Is that what it says? It's really small on my screen.
Yes, hit
Um,
the wall.
After this attack is resolved, the defending character gains one of the following special conditions: bleed, shock, incinerate, or poison. Energy attack. This end towards the target is a 4 distance, 8 dice for power attack. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains incinerate and stun special conditions. If you get a wild, scorched earth. Before damage is dealt, all other characters within 2 of this target character suffers 1 and gain the incinerate special condition. Um, Travel through gutter space. If this character is not holding an objective, place it within 3 of its current position. This superpower can only be used once per turn for only 2 power. Retcon powers activate. However much you want to spend. While this character is attacking or defending, during the modified dice step of the attack, it may spend up to 3 power to use a superpower. For each 1 power spent, this character may reroll one of its attack or defense dice. This superpower can only be used once per turn. And then Infinity Power! Plot armor.
Let me
When
hear
this
that.
character would suffer damage from an enemy attack, reduce the damage suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. And I don't believe she's got anything different on her back.
Nope. Okay. First impressions. Boy, howdy, does the game's rebalancing towards powerful four threat characters continue? No, Gwenpool was one of the characters in addition to our previous people we had talked about. I was not here to speak about Horse Thor, I think as you affectionately dubbed him.
It's worth store, yeah.
It's Cyborg Horse Thor. But Gwenpool was the one that made me just go, oh shit, are they making four threat characters really competitive again? Um, Gwenpool is kind of a decent tank. Like her automatic damage reduction plus 6 stamina on both sides.
Plus
That,
4, 4, 3, 4. That's pretty
that
impressive.
that is a Captain America defensive stat line. Like she's only missing the ability to add blanks to her successes, and she would be probably like the top
I
10%
mean,
of four threat tanks.
she does get to do rerolls on defense.
Also pretty good. Like
I do like the fact that the retcon
that's
powers
just
activate.
good.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they did balance that, something they haven't really done because usually you see just spend power, get your rerolls, or do whatever you want. Um, but they actually balanced it a little bit, which only once per turn. So if you attack twice,
Hmm,
you can only do it once the turn.
that's
So
fair. Um, but being able to spend that on attack or defense means she can potentially spike damage, especially if she has a lot of power. To that end, does she have a good enough dice pool to really justify trying to go for spike damage?
nah,
Um, this end toward target is base 8. That's pretty good.
Okay, so yes and no. I do like the fact that it gives incinerate to everyone around it, just by
including
merely existing.
guaranteed to the target.
Also, you need to reread that very carefully. It is not enemy; it is all characters within
Mhm.
two.
Yeah, so if you for some reason point blank yourself with the rocket launcher or your allies, they are also going to get lit on fire.
Yeah, because
Uh
she ain't immune to nothing.
no, this end toward target I think is a pretty great spender. Now will you be able to save up 4 power for it consistently? I could see it happening about every few turns, especially when she starts taking hits. I think
I Okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
well, if she takes a couple of hits, I think she's almost definitely going to be able to pull off her spender because Gwenpool's bag of tricks, even though it's only 4 dice, is a flat builder and is guaranteed to generate the 1 power. So spending an action to generate a flat power, maybe get a cool status condition, and then blow something up with this end toward target seems pretty reasonable on round 2, maybe if you get lucky with some shots on round 1 where someone was in range, or round 3 almost certainly.
I mean, you are looking at a possible passing off incinerate, dropping their defense by one, to hit them with this end towards target. So,
Or even if you have multiple targets nearby, you could be like, cool, I'm pretty sure the poor 3 or 4 threat model I'm about to point this end towards target at, I'm going to do good damage to them. Maybe I ping their buddy next to them, try to get out shock, for example, to mitigate damage coming my way.
so
It,
I'm
it's it's another quiet little defensive buff on Gwenpool that she can just. It's not great odds, but she can hand out shock.
so she is
Once again,
um
pair her with Hawkeye and I guess Star Lord, and just hand out almost every status condition with your range 4 or 5
oh
blasters.
just have Baron Mordo just stand behind her, just making everyone have it just because she gave it to him. Um,
Take her in Hydra. Again, needing a wild and a hit to get her status condition is lower odds than similar characters. I don't know if I'd make that your main game plan, but take her with Baron Strucker and Hydra and start healing
but
on
Jake,
top of getting the rest of her gimmick.
do you know who she's really good in?
Are you going to say Criminal
I'm
Syndicate?
gonna
Because
say
I'll
Criminal Syndicate.
I James, that baseball launcher is still on my shelf. The design
So
has not been put away.
she is actually Criminal Syndicate.
She is
Um,
for once, James, you do get to say, hey, she's good in her
she's good in
affiliation.
her affiliation.
Speaking
So,
of, what other affiliations is she in before we go too much further?
well, let me talk about that. So
Okay.
here's the thing is with four threat characters, they kind of steer away from that. They have a singular role. Three threat characters, two threat characters, they all have that. Like this is what they do. Um, in a kingpin, criminal syndicate, she's clearing points, or she's giving people incinerating on points, and then she's kind of running in with stabbing and tanking up.
I mean, if
Um,
nothing else, she could probably hold a flank on her own. She has no
yeah.
particular talents in that direction, but she has, and that's kind of my take on Gwenpool in general. She is generally good enough to handle most jobs. Like I wouldn't necessarily make her an objective runner, for example, but she can probably hang on to a hammer decently.
Oh yeah, giving her a hammer is actually probably not a bad idea. Passing her a senator,
Like
and then running
again,
to a side. Yeah.
having good defensive ability and defensive tech while still being able to put the hurt down if you really need one big attack. She's a well-rounded four threat.
So,
So, hey, back
but
to
the
what you're
thing
saying.
is, once again, her things changes. So like I'm seeing her as a like a tank, hold a flank, or just be a tanky in the middle, for Kingpin. If you do like Shuttle and Daredevil, um, she now turns into a incinerate monkey and starts passing out incinerate to everything. So Shaolin Daredevil, the ninjas, everyone else can jump in there and just start taking people out. Um,
So, here's a weird thought though. If those are the things you want, there is someone better. And this is the downside to being a capable generalist. If you want a tank character, Lizard still exists, and Lizard is still so good at that job.
Blob, Rhino, yes.
Um, Rhino's a little too mobile if your goal is just to hold like the center, because you want Rhino wants to be moving. I feel to get the most of his kit, but like someone like it's the push on Lizard. I feel that makes him so good at what he does. Is the basic
I
push on
mean,
his builder.
I kind of like the blob
Blob's
for
good for
tank.
similar reasons.
Yeah, the I get hit and you get bounced back.
Um, so I think Gwen can definitely hold that role, but I don't. I feel like you could drop a point to Blob or Lizard and get someone just as good if what you need is a tank. If you need, because with her stabby swords builder being having Pierce, it's very clearly meant to be a this is a standard damaging power on par with like Blade or just anyone with swords or Deadpool himself, if I remember correctly.
If she had like charge, I could see.
Well, I'd almost think she
Well,
doesn't need
actually, she
charge
doesn't really
because
need charge. She's got
she
to
has
travel
range
through gutter
four attack.
space.
Yeah, true. She has a place. We
She has a
haven't even
place.
talked about the fact that she has a self place for two. That's range three.
As long as
Honestly,
she's not holding an objective. Once again, they're
it
starting to
works.
limit people.
Um, so Gwenpool, I think, is a really solid add to a lot of rosters.
Oh my
Ho-
God. Sorry.
However,
An
oh
annoyance has joined the chat. Here,
James, bring that
come here.
cat up.
Come here. You're bugging the shit out of me because you want to jump up here, and now you're just like, no, I don't want to be in front of the camera. Ah,
The cat knows.
cat does know.
Cats are very routine driven. This is part of the routine now.
Oh God.
Um,
So,
yeah, no,
um,
Gwen.
how does she work with source scientist supreme?
That's a great question, and you're gonna make me look up Scientist Supreme again.
I mean, his power basically. Well, I don't
So
remember what his affiliation is
his
offhand.
leadership is when an allied character is attacking or defending, if it's holding or contesting and has one or more wilds, it can change a die to a hit or a shield. Basically, if you are contesting once per turn, per character, they get to be better if they roll a wild. So with her built-in
That
rerolls,
changes. Yeah, that changes her to be more of a sit on a point or just. I mean, wouldn't say using this end towards target, but it's nice to be sitting on a point and being able to hit the next objective.
I think it's also somewhat it's deceptive a little bit how much power she'll generate since having two ranged builders, having a range 2 and a range 4 builder means that she'll be able to be generating power in almost any scenario.
I think she's going to be
Um,
generating the power from being hit. She is going to be sucking up power like crazy. That's her downside.
she has a lot of uses for her power. This is harder than I thought. Gwenpool, I feel, is just a generically very solid, very solid model, but there's not really again, I can't get over how freaking good it is to have a range 3 self place and how I'm like, I actually can't recommend her super strongly just for that reason. She has this other stuff to go with it.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
know. I feel if you need one model to do a generalist's job of two other models, I think Gwenpool is just like chef's kiss
Do,
of rather than take two 3 threat models, maybe take Gwenpool and a threat two just to maintain body presence, or if you need a hyper specialist at something, you can take Gwenpool to kind of cover the bases you might be giving up for not having those two threes.
um,
Like
putting in her in Midnight Suns.
not an affiliation, but it'd be interesting. Midnight Suns has a slight disadvantage for splashing in that they really want to use Siege of Darkness, which requires Midnight Suns
Requires
affiliation.
most, yeah.
So they
But
don't splash as much.
still,
Um,
having her being able to pass out Incinerate and Bleed,
it's pretty good.
um,
Oh wait, she has bleed on Bag of Tricks,
on
yeah.
Bag of Tricks. But then she gets a place for two, and then she spends one and gets another one place.
I will say as well, she has two other affiliations, both of which are pretty good. She has A Force.
A Force is good.
A Force is a good affiliation. She gets more power.
It's not been
Or
really, yeah. She does get more power, but they've not been very strong in the tournament scene.
A Force needs another leader. Having a
It needs
sixth
another leader.
threat leader is a good sixth threat leader, but it's also people are having a giant pool of health with She Hulk or Hulk is not as intimidating as it used to be when those models first
Hmm.
came out. You have people who are just like, cool, I brought stuff to deal with Malekith. You are not nearly as intimidating as Malekith.
Yeah. Her other affiliation?
Avengers with
Avengers.
with Captain Rogers, Captain America's one power reduction. That's one cost to travel through gutter space. That's very good. Now it does
Actually, that is very, very good.
now it does not make retcon powers activate cheaper because I don't believe it can affect X.
No, it can't affect X.
So in that case, she isn't benefiting as much. She's almost too expensive for a Sam spam going wide list, and I don't think anyone takes Hulkbuster for its leadership. So
Hulkbuster has her leadership.
it does.
Does she have a card?
She has a couple ridiculous cards.
Of course she does. She's Gwenpool.
So Gwenpool has her character specific card, which I'll tell you up front, you are taking if you take Gwenpool.
I'll be the judge of that.
No, try this one. During the cleanup phase, so at the end of a round, Gwenpool can play this card. Choose an unused team tactic card from your roster that meets the squad affiliation requirements at squad creation. Add it to your available team tactic cards. It can be played this game. So she trades this card for any other card on your roster that is legal to play at the end of any round. No cost. James, you know that new sound you were looking for where you can just have a wild on your roster planning and figure out what you need as it happens?
I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
If you put her in
This is
Hydra,
this is unaffiliated. Take this. This goes with Gwenpool. The fact,
but
the only negative for taking this card I can think of is that whatever card you want to swap to is not available round one.
yeah.
That's it.
But taking this with the I change out the affiliation bonus. So you put this down and you're like, I'm not sure if I really want to bring this, I change the affiliation or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really needing it, but I could use this team tactic card that it's like a combat attack. Um,
Might be overthinking this. Do I need them healing this game? Do I need to mitigate a throw? Do I need basically it's been long enough I forgot the card that negates a collision.
uh, that would brace for impact.
Right. Brace for impact, which is still legal. Oh, edit this for time.
I don't
Um
know.
I think brace for impact is restricted. I don't think it was banned. But do you need brace for impact every game? A lot of them, but not every game. Now, would you like to have brace for impact on your roster as one of your 10 just in case, but not have to commit to it? And instead maybe swap it out for patch up
Does she have to do it on her turn, or is it just any time
during cleanup
during
phase?
cleanup?
So at the end of the round.
That's not good then, because you want to be able to have that when it happens. But
Well,
having a situational one, say like that, I switch out my I switch out the affiliation,
so
or you're looking for um, hey, do I really want to bring the orbital bombardment card because I might use it this game?
so
Um,
actually gonna push back on those as not being good picks for this because those require squad composition to work. You need two leaders,
yeah,
which this
but
doesn't.
if it's sitting out there,
But my point is you built your team to use those cards. You're not fooling anybody by maybe I'll swap it in.
so
Just
is
take the
this
card.
so is this card really that good then? Like because
I
you're
think
if you're like okay, I'm gonna save it for a brace for impact. Well, you're already in the cleanup phase. You've already been hit by a car.
no, that's what I'm saying is you can see what your opponent dropped after list creation,
I mean,
respond to what they did, and counterpick them by grabbing a tactic card.
you're
It's not for, I think, swapping in your own strategy, like orbital laser or leadership swaps or stuff like that. No, that's part of your strategy. Use this to counterpick your opponent's strategy once you've seen what they have round one.
I don't know. I think this is it's I think it feels awesome, but in reality, you've already figured out what cards you're gonna be using.
True, but it also really doesn't cost you that much of an opportunity cost because round one, how many people are having things thrown at them or even fighting at all in a lot of
Yeah.
lists?
What's our other card?
Her other card is shared with the other character in this box, Squirrel Girl. They say to keep your enemies close. Squirrel Girl or Gwenpool can spend 3 power to play this card. It is active, so it has to be during a turn, but not during their activation.
Okay.
During the next attack made by the character that played this card, if that attack targets an enemy character within range 1, the target character rolls no defense dice during the attack. During the next attack made by the character that played this card, if that attack targets an enemy character that is not within 1, after the attack is resolved, place the target character within range 1 of the character that played this card.
Way better card.
This
But
is an
you
insane
but
card.
you have to have Squirrel Girl and
No, 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 it's or.
or
Either
it's
or.
or. Ooh.
And it is 3 power, but it doesn't. Now, this affects their next attack, but it doesn't say their activation. So, for whatever reason, if you know they're about to activate on you as your next, if you wanted to, you could spend it and then trigger it on their next activation. Doesn't make a ton of sense, but that is allowed.
This is probably better for Squirrel Girl.
Uh,
Unless Gwenpool is going to run up to say Malkith or Thanos or
Mhm.
um, Hulk and just be like, point this end towards target, rocket jump.
You were
Like,
thinking of the damage potential, which is insane. I am thinking of, hey, force whoever I just shot at range 4 to teleport within 1 of me. No resist. It's a
oh,
tactic
I
card.
thought it was the reverse. I thought they
No, no, no.
teleported to
You
them.
move them to you. It's a pull.
That's no, that's better. That's way
No,
better.
this you take this.
This
If
is
you are
that's yeah.
playing Squirrel or Gwenpool, you take this
Does it happen at the end of the attack?
after the attack is resolved.
So you shoot them with this end towards target, incinerate everyone around them, and then bounce them back to you
And
and
stabby
stabby
stabby.
stabby.
It's
Better
gross.
card. Way better card.
Like this is, I think, hands down, this is just one of the straight up best single character cards I've seen in a while. It's very
That's a good
good.
card. That is a very, very good card.
Um, it's good enough where now all tactic cards are once per game,
Yep, yep.
so can't rely on it for everything. E- Maybe the
But
damage part is better for Squirrel Goal.
no, no, it's not.
Goral. I'm gonna keep saying Goral.
Girl, it's going on
Goral.
because
Well, I mean, we're gonna do a full Squirrel Goal. God damn it. We're gonna do a full Squirrel. I'm done.
oh, I'm making this into a whole thing.
Drink your drink. So,
But wait, wait.
squir-
Think about this though.
squir-
It says
no,
place, right?
I'm talking. Quiet. Shush.
Is it place?
Shush. Shush. It is place.
Juggernaut.
Cannot be. Can he resist tactic cards?
So it's during an attack.
Fine. I'll look up jugs now. We have to answer these things in real time. Do do do
I
do.
don't think there's anything that says
Uh,
he can't resist this.
Helmet. This character cannot be pushed or advanced by the special effects of enemy mystic attacks or superpowers. This is not an attack. This is a tactic card effect.
And it's a
As
place.
far as I know, there is nothing that stops a tactic card effect.
She shoots him, incinerates, drops him right in front of her. Probably the worst idea ever, but it pulls him off a point.
I mean, to be fair, having the
One can
ability,
also be behind you, so
yeah, you can absolutely just yeet him across the board.
yeah.
I mean, there's also nothing saying you don't. I think the forced movement is absolutely for Gwenpool. Squirrel Girl looking up has 3 for her base attack and 4 for her spender, so can pull this off. But Gwenpool has a cost 0 range 4,
Mm-hmm.
so that just feels a lot easier,
Yep.
especially since this card costs 3.
Yeah.
Um,
That does
yeah,
sound better.
you plink Juggernaut and then yeet him to the other side of the board. Now, granted, Juggernaut is going to recover. He has so much movement
Oh
built
yeah,
into the
yeah.
character, but it's it's so good.
He's not immune to
Like
poison, so
get him. Or actually, he's not immune to poison, incinerate, bleed, or shock. Honestly, yeah, shock Juggernaut. Make
Yeah.
them deal with having his attack go down. Um, so yeet Juggernaut behind you, or just anyone, and then use your other movement to just walk away medium.
Yeah. Then she's not bad. She's not a bad character.
No, that Gwenpool is a solid to average 4 threat model who is kind of an all rounder, which in this game with limited options kind of makes it harder to recommend her wholeheartedly for any given role. She can do all of them pretty well, but probably does them about equally as well as a 3 threat model specialized in the job you need. But I think she has 2 banger tactic cards.
Yeah. I think she's got one good tactic card. I still disagree with the other one, but okay.
I mean, I feel like no try this one is definitely going to be the kind of thing where you need to make rosters with it in mind
Yeah.
and see what kind of flexibility you can get with that.
Yeah.
Because there's even some affiliation cards where I'm just like, this is good. Like Web Warriors, for example, has some stuff where I'm just like, this is neat, but it's kind of situational.
Yeah. All right. Well, final thoughts.
I gave them a moment ago. You catch up.
Um, I mean, okay, she's
Say what you're gonna say, James.
she's really good. She's really good, and she's not into my playstyle. Like, I really want to take her, but I would rather have like take Rhino and Lizard, Blob. I would rather take like there's a ton of other characters I would rather take, because I want to be more of a wide list than a tall list.
Yeah,
So
you live, breathe, and adore that Kingpin playstyle.
I
You
do.
have loved that leadership since the day it came out, and I feel like when they eventually eradicate it out of existence, that is the day you quit this game.
Shut our point. Here we come. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks everyone
We'll
for
see you
watching.
next week.
Game off.
Game off. Bye.